A political animal. That's why we all have our views on politics. Political View comes to you at Ebonade 103.5 FM. It's Martin Ifeanyi Chukwu is here every Monday, 3 o'clock p.m. to 4:30 p.m. and Saturday, 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. It's all about the day-to-day activities in the Nigerian political space. Views of political actors from various political parties on political process. Views of labor leaders, and most importantly, your views. Views of the common Nigerian. Tune in to everyone at 103.5 FM or you join online via mixlr.com/gistfm every Monday and Saturday. What are your political views? Keep a date.
As we complain about scarcity of cash in banks, let us remember that decisions, and policies of government affects us negatively or positively or elevates us when we make the right decision on elections. Good morning and welcome to Political Views on Hebona, the 103.5 FM. I am Martin Ifeanyi Chukwu Ekezie. It's just 20 days, 20 hours to the presidential and national assembly elections on the 25th of February 2023. Don't you see the reason why we must discuss the happenings in the corridors of power? So as to know exactly the kind of action we are supposed to take, in order to shape our polity with the right kind of politics. The sufferings of Nigerians, like the sufferings Nigerians are facing today, does not exclude any ethnicity or any ethnic group in Nigeria. So why must we continue to play politics of ethnicity? There is always a difference between a well-informed leadership and leadership by trial. It is very important that Nigerians must participate actively in nation building. And remember that the life of party that does not care about what happens in politics today is a secondary lifestyle. So as a man, man is a political animal. Every human being must be aware of political happenings in their locality, in the political situation in their own location. So once again, welcome to Political Views on Ebona, the 103.5 FM. Martin Ifeanyi Chukwu Ekezie, the one here. Let me bring you up to speed on the happenings in the Nigerian political space this morning. The headlines: opposition elements plotting political crisis with fuel and naira notes scarcity. Tinubu insists. Don't mortgage Nigeria's unity for personal interests. PDP urges Clark. PDP denies alleged plot to incite Nigerians, disrupt polls. Ekweremado's daughter loses bid to get excused from trial. Shehu Sani Nwodo differs on currency swap policy. Naira swap. Emefiele rules out further extension. Martins tax government on policy with human face. INEC promises to ensure level playing ground for women. Atiku, now Nigeria's enemy, says APC presidential campaign cancelled. Rivers APC factions bicker ahead of presidential rally. Gunmen kill presiding magistrate during court session in Imo. Opposition elements plotting political crisis with fuel, new naira notes scarcity. Tinubu insists. All Progressive Congress APC presidential candidate Bola Ahmed Tinubu has insisted that the fifth columnist behind the current nationwide fuel and new naira notes scarcity want to foist a political crisis on the country. Speaking at Ekiti Parapo Pavilion in Ado Ekiti, venue of the presidential campaign rally yesterday, Tinubu said the people behind the crisis that has been causing nationwide frustration to Nigerians want to spark turmoil that could lead to the postponement of the general election. They are hoarding naira so you can be angry and fight. They want confusion so that the election can be postponed. What they want is an interim government, but we are wiser than them. We will not fight. Any rat that eats the rat poison will end up killing itself, Tinubu said. The former Lagos State governor told the people that he is in the presidential race to better their lives. I am in the race for the betterment of the people. If it is what I will eat and what I need personally, God has provided for me. I am in this race to make life good and better for you. Ekiti people are well-educated people. They are well-read. They don't joke with education. But it is not good to finish schooling and not get a job. So we shall provide jobs for you. On that day, we will trek to the polling booths to cast our votes. Your polling booths are not far from where you live, so you should walk down to cast your votes, Tinubu told his supporters. The next story we have for you: don't mortgage Nigeria's unity for personal interests. PDP urges Clark. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, has admonished political leaders to desist from using their comments to stoke discord between the North and the South of the country ahead of the general elections. In a response to the call by elder statesman, Elder Chief Edwin K. Clark, on Delta State Governor and the party's vice presidential candidate in the election, Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa, to step down for allegedly betraying the South, a spokesman of the PDP Presidential Campaign Council, Mr. Charles Aniabu, at a news conference yesterday in Asaba, stated that the party's presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar and Okowa were prepared to keep to the terms of the peace accord midwife by notable Nigerians, including a former head of state, General Abu Salam Abubakar, and the Bishop of the Sokoto Diocese of the Catholic Church, Dr. Hassan Kuka, and other members of the National Peace Accord Committee, Aniago, while stressing that the promotion of peace was necessary to achieve the much-needed development in the country, urged Clark not to mortgage the unity of Nigeria at the expense of his preferences, saying Nigeria's unity was paramount to its continued existence. He noted that the PDP would continue to accord enormous respect to persons in the category of Clark, saying in the midst of that, who also advised that in line with the need to promote unity and the peace of this country, elders must make comments that are in line with our desire to remain as one country, as an administration here in Delta, and as a political party, the PDP, our Presidential Campaign Council, has enormous respect for Clark on many grounds as an elder statesman, as somebody who has played very wonderful roles in our country as a former minister, and as a Nigerian allowed by the Constitution to have an option, to have an opinion on issues we will continue to give to him. It might be pardonable for the young ones to talk about the North and South dichotomy, but Clark has been around even before the Civil War, and he knows the geographic composition of Nigeria with brothers and sisters crisscrossing the North and the South. PDP PDP denies alleged plot to incite Nigerians, disrupt polls. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, has condemned alleged plots by All Progressive Congress, APC, to unleash hate speech against prominent leaders in the North and other parts of the country in a desperate bid to incite Nigerians, cause insurrection, and disrupt the 2023 general elections. The party, in a statement via the spokesperson of the Atiku Okowa Presidential Campaign Organization, Kola Ologbodiya, accused the APC presidential candidate Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu of using incendiary statements as well as deployment of top members of his campaign, including a serving governor, to insult and condemn prominent Nigerian leaders as a ploy to trigger crisis in the polity. Ologbodiyan said, "Our campaign invites Nigerians to note how notable arrowheads and supporters of the Tinubu-Shetima campaign have been moving around various media houses to spew hate speeches and promote blackmailing narratives, apparently with a view to undermining our national unity and derailing the electoral processes." Such top officials of the Tinubu campaign are also reportedly instructed to attack peaceful and well-meaning Nigerians, issue threats, incite mob actions, promote riots and violence in various parts of the country in furtherance of Tinubu's unrelenting incitement to his followers to deploy violence, fight, and snatch power by all means in the 2023 general elections, he stated. Ekweremado's daughter loses bid to get excused from trial. Former Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu sat motionless from his prison yesterday as his daughter's application to not stand trial with him and her mother for their conspiracy to harvest organ charges was thrown out by Justice Johnson at the Old Bailey. Sonia, 25, was in the dock with her mother, Beatrice, but the senator who followed proceedings via video link looked unmoved as the judge ruled out that she was not unfit to stand a criminal trial lasting 7 weeks, as her defense barrister Femi Oni had argued. But it was a day of battle of expert witnesses as both her barrister and the Crown prosecutor used the testimonies and report of expert witnesses to back their arguments in the courtroom. After tabling their both sides of that Oni had lined up. After being sworn in, the defense asked him, "Did you have opportunity to get consultation with her before writing his report?" He replied with a yes. Asked if he has a report on what she's suffering from, the professor told the court that she's developed from a young age a kidney condition that led to a gradual dysfunction, and consequently, her life is dependent on dialysis treatment until she had a kidney transplant. After being sworn in, the defense asked him, "Did you have opportunity to get consultation with her before writing his report?" He replied with a yes. Asked if he has a report on what she's suffering from, the professor told the court that she's developed from a young age a kidney condition that led to a gradual dysfunction, and consequently, her life is dependent on dialysis treatment until she has a kidney transplant. Led further in testimony, he told the court the treatment has placed psychological, mental, and medical burdens on her as it does on other dialysis patients. The professor also relied on the report of a consultant psychiatrist. Davis, on his part, had Dr. Andrews on his expert witness, though he admitted having not had any direct consultation with Sonia, but did say if the court's schedule of sitting times was moved to afternoon to accommodate her treatment days, that she is capable of standing trial. Andrew told the court in his testimony that the residual symptoms of dialysis do not make it impossible to attend trial. Shehu Sani Nwodo differ on currency swap policy. Civil rights activist and former senator who represented Kaduna Central Senatorial District in the 8th National Assembly, Senator Shehu Sani, has lampooned the federal government over its cash swap policy, saying thousands of Nigerians were facing excruciating hardship in accessing both the old and new notes to purchase essential commodities and also transact businesses. In the contrary, the immediate past President General of Ohaneze Ndigbo and former Minister of Information, Chief John Nwodo, applauded President Muhammadu Buhari for the policy, saying he has mopped up excess money in circulation that election riggers could have used to buy votes. Sani, in a statement in Kaduna yesterday, said the redesigning of the national currency and the cash withdrawal policy introduced by the Central Bank of Nigeria Governor Godwin Emefiele was an economic disaster and a poisonous idea aimed at unleashing hardship on the masses of Nigerians. According to him, the CBN has become a political institution and a home for serpentine and delirious economic ideas. Nigeria is a developing country. Our economic experiments must take cognizance of the economic status of our people. If the Buhari administration really wants to target the few corrupt, it doesn't have to wait this long and it doesn't have to punish the poor. Emefiele sets a forest on fire in the name of catching a few rats, he added. The next story we have for you, Naira swap. Emefiele rules out further extension. Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, Godwin Emefiele, has foreclosed the possibility of further extension of the deadline for phasing out old bank notes. The deadline was earlier extended to February 10th, 2023, plus a grace period of 7 days amid scarcity of the new banknotes. At a press conference in Lagos yesterday, Emefiele admitted the hiccups in the implementation process. He, however, said he would not promise a further extension. Rather than shifting the timeline, he said the bank was addressing pressure areas by redeploying cash where there were excesses. The governor dismisses the enormous challenges as transient, promising that the issues would be overcome soon, even as he urged Nigerians to embrace alternative payment channels. To reduce the hardship on Nigerians, Emefiele said that the Apex Bank would hold talks with telecommunication companies for possible suspension of charges on electronic transfer in the meantime. Electronic charges may be stopped. We will meet the telecom operators and other stakeholders to discuss how the charges could be stopped. It could be stopped. It should be stopped, he said. He sought the understanding of Nigerians while decrying the validization of bank facilities and attack on bankers. According to him, destroying bank facilities will worsen the situation. Emefiele admitted that the process was being sabotaged by greedy individuals, adding that the Apex Bank and law enforcement agents would go after individuals spraying money at social events as well as bankers and officials working with them. Some people have been arrested. We will trace others. They must go to jail because what they are doing is criminal offense, he noted. On the scarcity, he said CBN is aware of the difficulty being faced by Nigerians in assessing the new currency at this initial stage of its issue and circulation, but wishes to plead with all to please show some understanding as everything is being done to correct some of the observed lapses in the implementation of this ambitious program. The conference came on the heels of directive to banks to commence over the counter payment, capping the maximum limit at 20,000 naira daily. Meanwhile, some banks were paying a little as 1,000 naira yesterday as the officials decry low supply. The next story we have for you, Martins tax government on policies with human face. Archbishop of the Metropolitan See of Lagos, the Most Reverend Alfred Adewale Martins, on the heels of hardship in the country bordering on fuel scarcity and dearth of physical cash, has appealed to the ruling leaders to woo with compassion and make policies that would not aggravate the sufferings of the masses. He said this yesterday during the celebration of the Feast of the Presentation of the Lord, Day of Consecrated Life Celebration 2023 at St. John Catholic Church, Igando, Lagos. Adewale said cash are not available while fuel is scarce, saying that even if anyone wants to buy the fuel sold at high prices by independent marketers, the money is not even available. According to him, the present situation in the country exposes the fact that the government is only interested in rolling out policies without considering its impact on lives of the people. He also bemoaned the incessant attacks on innocent and harmless citizens in the north, saying it is an impression that there was a deliberate and direct effort to create problems for Catholic and Christians in the north. Saddened by the killing of a priest in the north recently in the most inhuman way, he called on the government to fulfill its role as protector of lives and properties of the citizens by ensuring the large population of Christians is secured. The duty of any government is to secure lives and properties of the people and also care for their welfare. Where this responsibility is lacking, one wonders the justification for such governments to remain in power, he said. He therefore called on Nigerians to look well before they leap in the coming election by voting those who had been found faithful to power. Otherwise, the nation is sitting on the keg of gunpowder. He said that the teaching of the feast being celebrated centers on Nigerians living a consecrated life like our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, as well as life of sacrifice for others. INEC promises to ensure level playing ground for women. Ahead of February 25th general elections, Independent National Electoral Commission INEC has pledged to ensure that there is level playing ground for women vying for political offices in the country. The commission therefore said it will ensure that women vote and are voted for in the coming general elections. Deputy Director, Civil Society Organizations, CSOs Division, INEC, Ndidi Okafor gave the assurance at the launch of the roadmap to advance gender equality in political leadership in Nigeria, organized by International Republican Institute, IRI, Women's Democracy Network, and a civil society organization. Elect her on Friday in Abuja. According to Okafor, INEC as an electoral umpire takes gender issues seriously, adding that it had been working hard to ensure that no gender is suppressed when it comes to voting and aspiring to be voted for. We are committed to mainstreaming gender issues in elections. We are committed to ensuring that women vote and are voted for. Women are intellectually healthy. Make use of the best information from this program and participate in the elections. Support one another. Ndidi said. Atiku, now Nigeria's enemy, says APC presidential campaign cancelled. The All Progressive Congress APC Presidential Campaign Council yesterday said the current sabotage of the naira note swap and the fuel scarcity that has caused untold hardship to millions of Nigerians across the country revealed the true character of People's Democratic Party PDP presidential candidate Alhaji Atiku Abubakar as the country revealed the true character of People's Democratic Party PDP presidential candidate Alhaji Atiku Abubakar as Nigeria's enemy. A statement by the Director, Media and Publicity, APC Presidential Campaign Council, Bayo Onanuga, recalls that since the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) introduced its current cash limit and new naira note swap policies, Atiku Abubakar maintained opportunistic silence with the hope they would benefit from the discomfort the policies would create for Nigerians and the resettlement they would generate for the ruling All Progressive Congress. He noted that while Atiku and PDP were in bed with the saboteurs and the fifth columnists among the operators of money deposit banks (MDB) and oil marketers who created the current logjam to force the outcome of the February 25th presidential election in favor of the former Vice President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu courageously pitched his tent with the poor masses who have been negatively impacted by the antics of these evildoers. The statement read in part, having realized they, PDP, have lost the initiative and their antics exposed to Nigerians by Asiwaju Tinubu at the APC presidential campaign rally in Abeokuta, Atiku made a half-hearted appeal to CBN to slightly extend the deadline for the currency swap. We are currently at a loss to understand what informed the current call of Atiku on CBN not to extend the February 10th deadline despite the unmitigated hardships still being faced by many Nigerians who could not meet their basic daily needs as a result of lack of cash from banks and the empty ATM machines. He continued, anyone who lives in Nigeria and not Dubai and visit banks and ATM locations would feel sad that the CBN is making our people suffer for its badly timed naira swap policy. The bank's latest fire brigade approach in approving payment of 20,000 naira at the counter is far from offering relief, as queues are still long and agony and frustration widening. An invitation to riot, he said. Rivers APC factions bicker ahead of presidential rally. 21 days to the presidential political crisis in the Rivers State chapter of the All Progressive Congress APC has continued to fester. A sharp disagreement has erupted between the group royal to group supporting the presidential candidate Bola Ahmed Tinubu over plans for the mega rally scheduled to hold on February 15th. A meeting in Port Harcourt yesterday, convened by the APC Presidential Campaign Council (APC PCC) and the Independent Campaign Council (ICC), ended in deadlock over issues of interest within the party, which forced the pro-Tinubu group, led by a former chief of staff, Tony Okosha, to stage a walkout. It was that Cole, who called for the meeting, failed to show up on grounds of alleged ill health and delegated Second Davis, former member of the House of Representatives and former executive director, Marine and Operations, Nigeria Ports Authority (MPA), to preside over the meeting. Commenting on what transpired at the meeting, Second, who claimed to be the chairman of the committee planning for the APC mega rally, said, I am very experienced in running campaign organization. The meeting Tony Okosha and his group walked out from is not a PCC meeting. It's a meeting organized by Rivers State APC preparatory to the hosting of the national campaign rally that is fixed for February 15. So it is by no means a PCC meeting, he declared. Thursday invaded Magistrate session. Gunmen on Thursday invaded the Ejemkuru Customary Court in Oguta, local government council of Imo State, while in session, and shot dead the presiding magistrate, Nnemeka Ugboma. According to sources, the hoodlums who came in motorcycles shot sporadically into the air to scare away the litigants, court officials, people in the vicinity and inside the courtroom before silencing the judicial officer. He was left in the pool of his blood while others ran away. His body was later recovered and taken to a morgue. The deceased, newsman Lant, hailed from Nebuku Autonomous Community in Oguta Local Council of the state and was a law graduate of the 1991 set. The Owerri branch chairman of the Nigerian Bar Association, Ugochukwu Alino, confirmed the incident, but the spokesperson of the Imo State Police Command, Henry Okoye, was yet to confirm as at press time. It will be recalled that about 2 years ago, a magistrate was also killed on the road by gunmen. Same year, a former chairman of the NPA Owerri branch, Ndi Onyema Nwankwo, was gruesomely hacked to death in his office on School Road, Owerri. His body was left in his chambers until the next day. His driver was suspected to have committed the crime. He fled after the incident and is yet to be seen. Members of the judiciary and lawyers are calling on the authorities and the security agents to beef up security in the 27 local council of the state. A source said he was killed by gunmen who operated in motorcycles while presiding over a court session. Nobody knew they were killers. Another source said the jurist was a law graduate of 1991 sect. He was killed in his court. His killers came with motorcycles. They came into the court, dragged him out and shot him dead and drove off. His body was there. While persons in the court fled, nobody knew the reason he was killed. He was from Nebuku community in Okuta, local government council in Imo State. The last story we have for you this morning is insecurity. Imo police commence manhunt for killers of customary court share. The Imo Police Command has confirmed Thursday killing of a customary court judge, Mr. Nnemeka Ugboma, while presiding over a matter. The police public relations officer in the state, ASP Henry Okoye, confirmed the incident to news agency in Owerri on Friday. Okoye said that the incident happened at Ejemekuru under Obud Agwa division in Oguta local government area of the state. He said that the command had commenced a manhunt for the assailants. We have commenced investigation to fish out the perpetrators of the dastardly act in order to bring them to justice, he said. A reliable source of anonymity that the government came into the courtroom, dragged him out and shot him in the head and zoomed off. He was just about to rise for the day when the incident occurred, the source further said. National newsmen learned that some soldiers rushed down to the scene and took the victim to the Federal Medical Center Owerri, where he was reportedly confirmed dead by a doctor. The source further said that the attackers went to the place in a commercial minibus. News reports that the manner of the gruesome murder of the 55-year-old customary court chairman has introduced a new dimension to the complex security challenge in the state. It further raised more concerns about the precarious security situation in the state. Newsmen recalls that on January 24th, gunmen attacked and killed Christian Ihim, the APC chairman in Umushok ward in Okwe, Onuimo local government area of the state. The attackers reportedly also kidnapped 5 other chieftains of the party in the community. Earlier on January 19, gunmen attacked and kidnapped the sole administrator of Idato North local government area, Christopher Ohizu, who was kidnapped in his residence in Arondi Zuogo, alongside 2 others, also had his building and vehicles razed down by gunmen. Also, on December 15, 2022, the Labour Party candidate for Onuimo State constituency, Christopher Elehu, was killed after the gunmen set his Okwe country home ablaze. A fortnight ago, gunmen attacked a police checkpoint in Ihite Junction on Owerri Aba Road, Owerri, killing a female police sergeant, Chinyere Obialo, during a gun duel. Meanwhile, the state chairman of the Nigerian Bar Association, Mr. Ugochukwu Alino, has described the killing as unjustified and alien to us as a people. It is, to say the least, insane. These are desperate times and desperate measures must be taken, Alino stated. Also, the state secretary of the association, Mr. Chukura Onwara, condemned the incident, describing the murder of Uboma as the height of insecurity in the state. There you have it. That's the much we can take from the news this morning, political news, all that is going on in the political space in Nigeria this morning. You are still tuned to Ebona the 103.5 FM, and political views is unfolding. Martin Epanshuku Ekezie is my name. The effect of the scarcity of fuel and naira is sparking up riots in some areas in Nigeria. And if you look at what the APC presidential candidate Bola Ahmed Tinubu said, you will discover that somehow somebody wants an interim government. Maybe the same group, that are actors are also the spectators at the same time. But Nigerians should be wise enough to take the right decision, should be, patient enough, to do the needful. Even as the governor Nasser El-Rufai claims that peterobi is the peterobi of the Labour Party, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, is a Nollywood actor. But the fact on ground shows that the momentum of the Labour Party cannot be contended. According to Babashia Lawal, he said that NMPP Kwankwaso follows peterobi as the second in this race, in this 2023 race, while APC and PDP lacks the dynamics to keep up with the presidential race, and it is running them, down, and it is running them down. So the claims by El-Rufai about 1% in Kaduna, 5% in Sokoto, and all of his statistics are false, as new statistics shows that peterobi is covering at least 50 to 60% in most of the northern states. And in the southeast, every other party comes to campaign as a tourist, and you can see that, through maybe that is the reason why the APC presidential candidate snubbed governor of Anambra State, Professor Charles Soludo, and also the traditional rulers of Anambra State. Maybe that's the reason, because already you come to a campaign and then it feels like tourism at the time. In the South, Labour Party is targeting 80% of support. Some Northerners are confessing to the fact that in the past they voted for fellow Muslims. Hello? Yeah, good morning. How are you doing? Okay. Okay, Gabaniru from Nnewi, right? Gabaniru, sir. Adewale, the Bishop of Lagos, the Archbishop of Lagos. Oh, yeah.
All these radio titles were no, but I wouldn't see that. Handling it. It is a wood I managed. We found a one from Ananda. It is quite a one from Ananda. And a margin of a Tana, and look what you go when you say, we'll have a high day. Would that again be me? As an apple party, say, you with the father of the father. And when now, dog, and then you will have that develop of party.
Hello? 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 Okay, please call us back, yeah? Please. 08096661035, and then you become part of this conversation. Remember that we are talking about a lot of things. Then the politics behind the scarcity of naira and fuel. Exactly. That's exactly what we are looking at today. And Remember what Babashia is talking about, the fact that Northerners today of naira and fuel, you know, exactly, that's exactly what we're looking at today. And remember what Babashia is talking about, the fact that Northerners today are not just looking at a situation whereby they will just support a fellow Muslim, and at the end of the day, they are still suffering for the consequences of what is being done. 08096661035, that's the number you call, and then you become part of this conversation. It looks like we are, we are facing issues with the network, but please keep the calls coming through. You can as well send the WhatsApp or SMS message to 08096661035, and then you also become part of this conversation. But keep the calls coming through. 08096661035, and then we have a lot to talk about. Basically, remember that everything that is going on in the political space, concerns you and me in one way or the other. Some of the things that we get to discuss, and then we don't get to discuss them, and then somehow it gets to affect us in one way or the other. Some of the things that we are supposed to add our voice to, the people who represent us sometimes need to understand what we are going through or what we are facing at the time. And we having this opportunity, this platform to talk about it, is also an opportunity for them to hear us out. So 08096661035, and then we're in business of discussing the political happenings in the political space. Yes, remember that PDP denies alleged plots to incite Nigerians, disrupt polls. They denied it, basically. Then another question is, are you in support of what Edwin Clark is telling the vice presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party about being a betrayal to South people? Let's hear from you. Hello? Yes, yes, oh yeah, but carry on. Congo. Congo. Based on key he paid attention to him where all your take, but internationally, I know Congo have a lot of things. On all the South Sudan, one way I'm not Nigeria compared to South Sudan, but yet I want even Nigeria still. Okay, so we compare South Sudan and Nigeria.
ọ na-eti ya mana nke obodo a onweghị ihe ọ na-esitedo nke obodo ajajarị
nke na-eme na Nigeria na nke na-eme na Ukraine nke kan nke a gosi na ịdị sentimental about it. Ndị na-anọ full blown work esi and nke petebe nke ha bido before wee bịa họọ work. Yes, achọrọ m ka itinye ọnụ na nke
a. Come and interfere in this area of Nigeria. I want to know this thing is not of hand. I mean, it's okay. I want to know that Nigeria, where I'm about that here. Okay, but then you go to in a bank, you will go. I'm out there. You get an ATM. Let's say an ATM, you will go. Handling down, I'm not going to know. You get an ATM, I don't know to get you then I had it. You don't want to stay there like I had a make that. And what do you make? Mata, yes, I need to. I don't know what I don't know about that. You don't want to. Yeah, I'm going to go to the very easy. And it's not going to tell the Diana. I will come to the nation and do that. You know why? I see I will keep a content. And
yes, it's political views on Ebona at the 103.5 FM. All that is going on in the corridors of power affects you and me in one way or the other. So we have to pay attention to this thing. So the numbers to call come out of this conversation 080-9666-1035. And then we are in business of talking about the political happenings in Nigeria today. Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Yeah, good morning. So in a na just president ka ihe niile si na even ndị mmadụ sokwu na-akọsi ebe a.